loves, this is Mystique and I welcome you to my digital sacred space. I hope you're happy, healthy and healing wherever you're watching from. Today we are looking at what is the spiritual significance of your birth. And before I get into the cards, I know that I took a long break and so many of you messaged me and left comments asking me if I was okay and sending me so much love and words of positivity. Thank you so much. I was extremely sick this past month. I had a very high fever for several days and I was extremely unwell because I was overworking myself and I had to delay a lot of the personal readings. I had to take a complete break from YouTube readings, and thank you so much to all those of you who booked your personal readings in March last month. You guys, thank you so much for being patient with me because I did cause some delay for your readings because I was unwell. But thank you so much for being so loving and so supportive and so patient, and I hope you enjoyed your readings. So yeah, and thank you so much my YouTube soul family as well for being so kind and for being so supportive. So today I decided to do this reading for you where we look into the spiritual significance of your birth specifically. So my intention for this reading is to focus on your spiritual mission, right? If you're a light worker or if you're a star seed, why are you here in this 3D matrix, on this planet, on Earth? Because I've come to realize that a lot of you guys are very highly spiritually evolved, and people that are very highly spiritually evolved usually have some kind of mission that they are here for. You know, that is why you've got spirit guides watching over you, you've got your whole team, you've got your ancestors. So today I'm basically calling upon them to ask what is the spiritual significance of your birth and what new frequencies you will be encoding and bringing into the 3D. What higher dimensional energies are you bringing into the denser, lower vibrational 3D? Not that I say lower vibrational, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. I mean, we're all living here. So yeah, this reading is kind of like a thank you to you guys. So hopefully this reading gives you clarity. Hopefully this reading makes you feel good and lets you know exactly why you're here in terms of your spiritual mission. Okay, so let's get into the cards. Let's get into your piles. I have the Wild Unknown Oracle deck, so I'm gonna pick out 3 cards from here. I'm already seeing very clearly, and I feel like this wants to come out as well. This is pile 1, this is pile 2. Pile 2 got 2 cards. We're taking them. They must be important. So for pile 1 we have this beautiful card and it says the prayer. For pile number 2 we have 2 cards. We have the flame and we have the offering. Wow, that's beautiful. So pile number 2, if you're drawn to any one of these cards, then this will be your reading. We've got offering, and then for pile number 3, wow, we've got the gem. It's possible that you could be drawn to only 2 piles. If you're drawn to multiple piles, I see a significant difference in the energies of all of these groups. So if you are drawn to 2 piles, then that means you're bringing both of those very distinct energies. Okay, that's what I'm feeling. So I'm gonna start with my prayer. Oh my god, it's so nice to do a reading after such a long time. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are taking care of your physical health. I definitely need to pay attention to my physical health for sure. It can be exhausting to pull energies from the higher frequency to here and keep channeling. which is why sometimes I might not be as frequent with my readings, but it is only if I'm unwell. I never take breaks unless this is the reason. Like, I've never been on a vacation, you know. I never take breaks from YouTube just because I feel like it. I feel like these readings are there to help you, and the word that comes to me is the word kartavya. I think it loosely translates to responsibility, job. I think it's a Hindi word, but yeah. So I hope and I pray that you guys are taking care of yourselves. Take a deep breath, slowly, gently, and breathe out. Take a deep breath once again, slowly, gently, and let it out. There is no need to control your breath. It's okay and it's enough if you just watch the coming and going of the air, the ebb and flow of life, how your own breath moves through your lungs, through your nose, through your body. Where do you feel your breath the most? Where do you feel life the most? I honor and call upon your higher self. I call upon your guides, ancestors, and all light beings that have good intentions for my soul family, my group number 1, 2, and 3, to stay here with me, to stay present with me as I proceed with my soul family's reading, to allow me to articulate correctly and channel all of the information, all of the spiritual guidance that you have for my pile number 1, 2, and 3. For this, I pray and I thank you, higher dimensional beings that watch over and protect my soul family and me. I ask you to protect this sacred space from any malicious, non-physical energies, beings, vibrations, or frequencies. I command you to leave, as this space is only for non-physical light beings that are in favor and have the best intentions for my soul family and me. We do not consent to being hurt or being negatively affected by any malicious beings. We know our own power and we fully step into it and embrace it as light workers, star seeds, spiritual beings of earth that are here to bring the new earth, the new frequency. And as I close this prayer, I would like to say thank you to my dear soul family. Thank you so much for all of your sweet messages, for being so supportive. I can never express with my words the gratitude that I feel for you guys, and I'm so happy to be a part of this collective, to be part of this family, to be part of your journey. My readings, I hope they help you on your journey, but I hope you do remember that you are part of my journey as well, because you are exchanging your energy with me. And thank you so much for being present and for holding such a compassionate and loving space and patience for me when I do have my moments where I get sick or I succumb to lower frequencies. I thank you so much for being present and for sending your love. It makes me feel like I am supported and I am loved. Thank you so much, my dear ones, for existing. And thank you so much for being you. I hope everything that you wish for comes to you tenfold. Every longing, every desire be fulfilled. And with this, I bow down to your magnificent presence, to your divine energies. I bow down in gratitude to your higher self, your spirit guides, your ancestors, all of the higher dimensional beings that watch over you. Thank you so much for being part of my journey. And now I will close this prayer and begin with your readings. Thank you. You may go ahead and click on your bio. The timestamps will be in the description. If you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, my email address is in the description. That is the only way to book a personal reading with me. I will not reach out to you. That is the only way to reach out to me for a personal reading. So thank you so much, and I will see you at your bio. So we've got pile number 1. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. You've chosen the prayer. Now I feel like a lot of you could be women. You don't have to be. My readings are not catered to a specific gender, but I do feel that there is a strong divine feminine energy coming through. So you don't have to be a woman to embody that energy. It's a matter of choice, and it's a matter of decision. What kind of energy do you feel comfortable in? What kind of energy do you like to embody the most? And I do feel like there are a lot of divine feminines that are watching this reading. I feel highly that one of your biggest spiritual missions is to probably bring love specifically into this 3D matrix. And I feel like when your soul chose to incarnate in this life, I feel like there is half of you that might have opted into a lot of trauma, or a family where there was no love, or there was a lot of manipulation, or maybe it was toxic or dysfunctional in some way. Basically, you as a child did not receive love, and you saw the effects, the detrimental effects, the dangerous effects that it had on you as a child. And it's almost like you're still feeling the repercussions today. And I feel like you divine feminines, instead of looking at that and being like, okay, I'm gonna fight the world, you are choosing to love the world. And I'm hearing this dialogue that I think 𝒫𝒾𝓁𝑒's character says in one of the movies with, I think it's 𝑥ander, and she's talking to Vin Diesel, I think that's his name, and she says, I don't want to, something along the lines of, I want to save the world instead of rage against it. And I feel like that's very much your energy. I feel like you're tired of fighting, and I feel like you've kind of extricated yourself. A lot of you have extricated yourself maybe from your families, or like if a friend group was bullying you, whatever this source of toxicity was, whoever was trying to bring dysfunction and lower vibrational frequencies, toxic frequencies towards you, I feel like you've kind of thrown it back, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to be in this fighter, survival, warrior kind of mode. I've realized that I would like to give love to this world. It's kind of making me like tear up a little bit, because I know the kind of pain that you've gone through, and I'm spirit is kind of taking me into it, but they're not fully putting me into it because I will not be able to speak. So I'm watching you go through these ego deaths, I'm watching you go through these tower moments and these absolutely heartbreaking moments where you were shattered on the floor, realizing that there was no love around you, that there was no kindness, that you didn't have anybody you could trust, that you were betrayed, you were deceived. And I feel like you've decided to be the light, and for this your spirit guides are so proud of you. You are the prayer that the world needs right now. Pile number 1, it is not easy to embody love in a world where everyone's busy playing a zero-sum game. It is not easy. And I want to say that I am so proud of you. And I know me saying that I'm proud of you is not going to take away your pain when you do realize someone betrayed you or deceived you. But I hope you do not blame yourself. You do not sit there victimizing yourself because somebody else decided to be mean to you, somebody else decided to project, somebody else decided to disrespect you. Please don't take their frequency unto yourself, because this is how pain is perpetuated. Hurt people hurt other people. And I feel like you are the cycle breaker of pain specifically, and you're bringing love. I feel like these are your two missions. You're breaking the cycle of pain. It's like if somebody hurt you, I feel like you have the opposite mentality. You're not like, okay, I'm gonna go and hurt someone else. It's like, okay, my ex cheated on me, so I'm not going to trust the other person that loves me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how you move. I feel like you do a lot of healing. You do a lot of soul retrieval, soul work. You do a lot of inner work to be conscious of your traumas. So you've come here to transmute pain, and you've come here to bring love. Wow, that's a very difficult mission. Group number 1, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you're here, whoever you are, because that, oh my god, is not easy. And can you tell that my hands are like wow. I'm so happy you came across my channel, because I am deeply, deeply, deeply proud of you. So let's see what your spirit guides have to say. Look at that. We have 10 of Wands. Yes, 10 of Wands is usually the cards of responsibility. Your soul bears a heavy burden of transmutation and transformation. You know what it's giving me? It's giving me a lot of 8th house energy, a lot of Pluto energy. You don't have to be, you don't have to have, this placement specifically, but I'm just feeling that you are. But you see how in this tarot deck, she is kind of taking all of this and making castles and gems out of it. Oops. So I feel like you're here to bring light. You see how there are these, they look like light bulbs to me, almost like a light bulb. And she's built a tree out of her pain. And I feel like this is the tree of life. This is the tree of love. And that is what you're doing metaphorically. Group number 1. Wow, you opted into a very, very difficult mission. But I'm so proud of you. The next card that we have is the Fool. I feel like it's like your early life is going to be very different from your later life. I feel like if you didn't have love in your childhood or in your early life, in your adolescence, in your teens, then you're going to have a lot of love in your, let's say, your, late 20s, 30s, 40s. Like, I'm being shown like a distinct energy change between how your previous, not previous life, but your early life was, and how it's going to be very different in the future. Your future is going to be very different. Let's say you didn't have happiness, right? You're going to have a lot of happiness. So whatever you craved, whatever you didn't have, you're going to have an abundance of that in the future. Then we have Temperance. Of course, we have 7 of Pentacles. I'm just going to take it like that because that is what it's giving me. Temperance, yeah. Alchemy. You're here to alchemize pain into love. Wow. Wow. I wish I could give you a hug, pile number 1, because damn, you have not chosen an easy mission. Your soul is so brave. So brave. And I know it's not easy, and some of you might be thinking, oh, I don't want this, and I completely get it. But damn, you're brave. I have to say that. I have to say that you're brave. We have the Ace of Cups. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. We have the Page of Pentacles. And lastly, we have the Empress. Wow. You are here to birth life into death. The world, the way it is, it's very much in death. And when I say death, I don't mean that people are dying, however, that is true, but I mean that there is a lot going on in the world where, from a perception of separation, people are hurting each other and they don't have the empathy that you have, they don't have the holistic perspective that you have, right? And so they might not think twice before they hurt someone else, right? And I feel like you are the kind of person, you're looking at the wider picture, you're looking at the more objective perspective, because I feel like you've always been spiritual in some way, group number one. You've always been spiritual, and it's like your spirit's child. I just heard your spirit's child. Everyone is spirit's child, but for some reason they came through very strongly to say that. So maybe there's some of you that needed to hear that specifically, your spirit's favorite child. And they're watching over you. And they might not understand that they are coming from a place of trauma when they hurt someone, right? They are not going to look at themselves, right? If you, let's say that there is a girl, right? And she is in a class with a group of people, and a new girl joins in, and she's very beautiful, right? And this previous girl, girl A, perceives girl B, this new girl, as being more beautiful than her. Now, there is no such thing. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. It's just that, we girls have been taught to compare ourselves with other girls and fight, so that they can keep us weak, and they can keep us, keep our self-esteem low, and that makes us more controllable and more malleable. So anyway, girl A gets very jealous of girl B. Now she's got a choice. Is she going to be mean to girl B, the new girl, or is she going to look at herself and be like, oh, wait a second, this is just another tactic of society to control us. This is just another psychological maneuver by men that keeps our self-esteem low, keeps us fighting for them, right? When we don't need their validation, we don't need their attention, right? We don't need to compare ourselves to other women and feel bad about our own selves. So if she's able to take the latter perspective and not the former perspective, then she evolves spiritually, right? And then she heals, and she realizes, oh, wait a second, this jealousy is actually a cover for insecurity. And why is she insecure? Because she goes back and she looks into her childhood, and she's like, oh, wait a second, even my mother was insecure. Even she didn't like what she saw in the mirror, and she was constantly criticizing her body, and that is where I have picked it up from, right? And I feel like you're the person who would choose the second option and not the first one. But a lot of people will choose the first option and not the second one. They will choose to abuse someone else because they are feeling insecure, right? They will choose to project because they don't want to look at themselves. They will choose to hate someone else because they hate themselves, and they don't want to say that they hate themselves because ego. And so they'll project it on someone else. So I feel like there could have been a lot of people that tried to get you in some kind of lower vibrational frequency, like they tried to keep you down in some way. That's what I'm feeling. They try to dim your light in some way. I feel like if you're someone who's very positive or happy, or you used to be positive and happy as a child, I feel like there was someone who was like, God, why does pile number one shine so much? Why is pile number one's heart so clear? Why is pile number one like that? Let me go and be mean to pile number one so that they come down from the pedestal. They become dark instead of being light, okay? And I feel like you being a light in this world, a light of love specifically, you are taking on a lot of pain that is not just your own. You're not alchemizing your own pain with the temperance here. I feel like you're alchemizing pain of other people as well, because we have the Empress, we have the Ace of Cups. You are like a balm, you are like a medicine. That is how your energy feels to me. Some of you could be Virgos, you don't have to be, but your energy comes off as like, how can I be of service to humanity? And you might have days where you're like, you know what, F humanity, I don't give a, and I know you might have days like that. That's okay. I will never shame you for having feelings, whatever your feelings are. but there is almost this sense of like you're also seeing the perspective of those people that hurt you, or your haters, or people that are toxic to you, and being like, oh wait, he couldn't treat me well because he is insecure and he is misogynistic. He's been taught he doesn't respect women, he doesn't treat women as their equal, he thinks women are inferior because he feels inferior in his own life, which means that he's got issues with the divine feminine, and he's got issues with his mother specifically, because that's the mother wound that is being projected onto you. And once you start seeing that, it's like you're like, you can't even be mad. Like you get it, like you're seeing behind the curtain, you're seeing behind the veil, and you're downloading all of this spiritual all the time. You know what your energy feels? Your energy is very, very close to my energy, so I'm not having trouble explaining any of these concepts to you, because I feel like I am very, very similar to you guys, pile number one. So my energy is feeling a certain resonance with you guys, and wow, you guys, it's like your heroes, your spiritual warriors, your spiritual heroes. You know how there is like this protagonist and antagonist, like you guys are here heroes, and your antagonist is hate. Your antagonist is the shadow of the human. Your antagonist is, it's like you don't believe in the concept of enemy, because you might see the whole of humanity as your family. It's like, we're meant to be together. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we oppressing Black people? Why is this going on? Why are children being abused? Why are children starving on the street? Why is there no cure for cancer? How did cancer come about? And it's like you have all of these existential questions, like what is the purpose? What is the meaning of my life? And why am I here? But mostly I feel like the thing that you're most curious about, possibly it tortures you, it haunts you, is why is there so much suffering on the planet right now? Why is human suffering infinite? It feels like that. Why is it like that? And I feel like you've kind of dedicated a lot of time to understand. And I feel like no matter what they try to do, what these people try to do, you've got 10 and you've got ace, so 110. And I always say this, nothing is ever going to stop you from being the love. You know how they say, like, this person is the love of my life, right? Like, this person is my soulmate. That is what humanity is going to feel about you. Like, you are the love. And humanity will be expanded enough to understand and get out of the concept of romance, right? Not that those are bad relationships, but I feel like they will expand enough to understand that, okay, wait, it's not right to put so much weight on this one relationship that is a romantic relationship. There are other relationships that we need to form with people, and being around people is just as important. And I feel like they will expand enough to understand what you're bringing to earth, what you're bringing to the table. There's something about like people not understanding who you are and what you're doing right now. So if you give them a spiritual perspective and be like, you know what, this is what is going on energetically with you, like this is why you're doing this, they might immediately have this clamshell reaction where they're like, no, that's not what's happening. No, who are you to say that? I know me. Oh, you think you know me better than I do. No, you don't. And they might have this kind of a reaction like, oh, no. You might catch your father doing something to you and you're like, wait, your father did that to you. That's why you're doing it to me. But that doesn't make it right. And your father might be like, no, that's not why I'm doing. And they know that you're right. They know you're right. But they don't like that you're right, because that means they have to now look at themselves and they're not ready to face themselves and face what is in their unconscious, because that means that they've lived their whole life on a lie. And I feel like some people will never be ready to face themselves enough to hold a safe space for you. Group number 1. We've got Page of Pentacles and the Empress. You are a gift to humanity. I could not emphasize this enough in your reading. We've got the Fool, we've got Temperance, we've got Ace of Cups, we've got the Empress. You're here to create and birth life. And when I say life, I don't mean an actual baby, although that could be the case, but I feel like you're bringing the frequency, okay, the frequency of life itself, of being alive. You're bringing the vibration of life itself onto the planet, and you're like, you know what's happening is not okay. This is what it is. Like if you meet someone, let's say, who's suicidal, and you're like, you know what, this is what society is going to tell you, they're wrong, this is what you need. You know what I mean? Like, That's the level of compassion and understanding I'm seeing. Like, you're going to know exactly what to do, you're going to know exactly what to say, you're going to know exactly how to be. You are such a light, and in the future you're going to be shining so bright. You are going to be gold. Okay, right now your energy comes off white to me, white and like a teal blue, a light blue. Okay, but in the future it's gold. It's gold and white. That's what it is. You're somehow like a pure angel on the, oh my god, you could be an angel that's incarnated here as a 3D person. A lot of people think that, you know, angels live in like the heaven, and like that's not true. Angels are just high frequency, high vibrational, higher dimensional beings. But in a way, a lot of us are higher dimensional beings, right? Star seeds are higher dimensional beings. We have, you know, purposely come here with a mission, right? Like we've come here to encode light. So it's kind of like our purpose, it's kind of like a mission. And I feel like you guys will do that anyways. So the fact that your reading is ending with the Empress, and I'm not being called to pick out oracle cards for you, group number 1, but you see how there is this butterflies, sun butterflies. Like, I feel like you're blooming beautifully, you'll be transforming beautifully, and it's like, no, people will get it. Like, in the future, I feel like whatever you have to say, whatever spiritual perspective you have to give, people will get it, right? For example, today people don't think that S is a sacred act, but it is a sacred act, right? Because it is the closest you can be to another person physically. I mean, how you cannot get any more closer than literally being inside another person. So that is a sacred energy exchange, that is sacred and divine. But because of certain religions and certain people that wanted to control humanity, S was demonized, S was shamed, because they wanted us separated from our divinity. And we are closest to what you would call God frequency, what you would call source. We are closest to the universe during S, during an orgasm. And I just feel like if you were to start saying this to people, people might not get it right now. You know, like the whole casual S thing and the hookup culture thing is going on, where people don't realize that, oh wait, you know, this is sacred, we must not be misusing this. And I feel like in the future, when you say it, they'll get it, because they're like, oh wait, we've been through the pain of just wasting our energy. You know, now we feel hollow because we're having so many physical connections but not physical intimacy, right? We are having so many physical interactions, interactions, but not necessarily connection, right? Not necessarily being seen, being heard. And so it makes you feel even more lonely, it makes you feel even more empty. And then they're like, oh my god, like, you know, like pal number 1 was right, like whatever you have to say, they'll get it after. You know what it's giving me? It's given me Megan Fox. You know how people took a decade for it to be like, oh wait a second, maybe we owe an apology to Megan Fox, you know? But she's always been smart, she's always been spiritual, she's always been funny, she's extremely intelligent. And people didn't see her as a person, people saw her as an object, right? An object of envy. They saw her as a doll, they saw her, you know, for whatever reason. But then they were like, oh wait a second. And it took a decade for people to be like, oh wait, you know what, Megan Fox, she was right, she didn't deserve that treatment, you know, we failed her. And I feel like it's kind of a similar vibe with you, where in your early life, when you're speaking up against something, people might not listen to you, and people might be like, no, pile number 1, you're wrong. And they might gaslight you and breadcrumb you and abuse you, possibly manipulate you, possibly, you know, subtly try to get you to lower your guard and lower your frequency so that they can come in and deceive and betray you. But you knew their game, and it was like, it backfired. Like, I feel like someone tried to play you and backfired, and then they were like, oh, pile number 1 is not to be messed with, because pile number 1 might be kind, but they are not naive. They know what's going on, they know what's up. And I just feel like if you told them like, this is why you're trying to deceive me, then they might have immediately been like, no, that is not true. Like, that's how they must have reacted, you know. And you're like, well, I already know what's going on. Like, You're the one who's lying to yourself. Don't try to come in and fool me. It's like, even though you're getting the fool card, I don't feel like you're the one that's the fool. I feel like they are the ones that are fools for trying to do this to you, because your light cannot be done, group number 1. You cannot be put down. So go ahead and do what you want to do. Spirit guides are protecting you. You're here for a sacred mission. You are strongly held. You are strongly protected. Okay? Don't be afraid to be the light. Don't be afraid of people trying to dim you. Shine as bright as you want to. Do whatever you want to. Embody love. Go deeper in your divine feminine energy or divine masculine energy. If you're a man, whatever energy you associate or feel most beautiful, comfortable, amazing in, and live on your terms. And your terms will be different from the world, but that is what the world needs. They just don't realize it right now. Okay? You're here to bring the sun and the moon, the frequencies of the sun and the moon. You're here to hold dichotomy. You're here to bring a lot of love into pain. And that is not always easy, but one day all of it will come back to you full circle. One day your efforts will come back to you full circle. I don't know how, but they will come back to you. All of the love will come back to you. Okay, so now they're permitting me to end the reading. It was a bit longer than I expected, but I hope this reading was helpful, and I want to give you the biggest hug. Group number 1, the biggest hug, biggest virtual hug to you guys. Thank you for being such a brave light in the world. Thank you for existing. Hopefully I'll see you in my next reading. If not, I thank you so much for watching this one, and I thank you, all of your guides. I thank all of the beautiful cards that helped me channel today. And yeah, I'll take your leave now. Bye. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hello my loves. If you chose group number 2, then this is going to be your reading. When I was shuffling your cards and in the intro, and I picked out your cards, when I saw the flame, immediately I heard twin flame. So your twin flame could be, first of all, you have a twin flame. For those of you that might not be aware, you definitely have a twin flame. And this twin flame could be a source of immense transformation in your life. There is something that you're going to learn through this twin flame relationship. Okay? Now, for some of you, I'm getting that your twin flame connections are usually very karmic. And there's usually like a runner-chaser dynamic going on, and it's usually the divine feminine. It's usually the feminine partner that chases the masculine, because the masculine gets scared. Their feelings come to the surface, and masculines are not allowed to embody emotions, right? And so it's very hard for the masculine to kind of be like, you know what, like, I'm allowing this connection. It takes a lot of courage, right? And the reason why twin flame relationships are very difficult, spiritually speaking, is because it's almost like it's a piece of your own soul, right? It's like the same stream of consciousness that you both are, right? 1 and 2, right? You guys are you guys are coming from the same stream of consciousness. So it's like your twin flame is a piece of your own soul. They are not your soulmate. Soulmate connections are very different from twin flame connections. And so the twin flame connection can be very difficult, because it's almost like you're dating yourself, like you're looking in the mirror and you're dating yourself. You're being loved the way you always wanted to be loved, and everything is magnified. So the highs are very high. The highs are very high because it's like, oh my god, I've waited to be loved like this my whole life, and like, you come in and you're like absolutely perfect. You're exactly how I would want a partner to be. But there is also the whole thing of your traumas are also magnified, because it's like you're looking in the mirror. So all of the, I don't want to say bad things, but we all have our shadows. We all have our things that we are not conscious about. Like, we all carry trauma from our parents, from our ancestors, from the world. It's not exactly a good place right now. It's not a place of love right now. So, you know, that is very projected in this relationship, and it's very, very triggering. It's very triggering. And so if you guys have been in some kind of a twin flame situation, okay, where I feel like some of you are meant to walk away from this twin flame, or will choose to walk away, because I feel that a lot of people that are choosing this pile know what's going on, right? But your twin flame doesn't know all of these spiritual concepts. Like, they are not as tapped in spiritually as you are. They are not as close to spirit as you are. And so they don't understand what's going on. They're just getting triggered and possibly projecting on you, or running away from you, or, you know, disrespecting you. Like, there's something about them projecting something on you and making you feel bad, and you're like, oh, I get it, you know, this is why this is happening. Oh, you've got a trauma, you know, you've got trauma, you've got a wound, this is what is coming up, you need to heal this, you need to love yourself, you need to love this part of yourself, so you don't project it onto me. And I feel like you guys get it. Okay, I feel like you, pile number 2s, you guys get it, but I feel like this person doesn't know what's going on. This person does not have any context. And I just feel like at some point, if this person, your twin flame, right, your twin flame decides not to change, decides not to evolve and expand, like they decide not to love yourself, not to love themselves, and, you know, they keep hating on you, they keep bringing a lot of shadow into the relationship instead of, like, you know, transmuting the shadows into light. I feel like at some point some of you guys will be like, you know what, I don't care if this person has come from another universe to be with me. I don't want this. And I feel like you guys will be setting up a strong boundary and being like, you know what, I don't want this. I don't want this kind of chaos. I don't want this kind of immaturity. I don't want this kind of toxicity and dysfunction. Because what people fail to, I guess, tell people is that the other person has to choose to grow. Because in a twin flame relationship, if you guys don't grow spiritually, both partners, it turns toxic. There is no other way. It turns toxic. That is going to happen. And I know some of you guys might be getting triggered. Maybe you guys want to be with your twin flames. This reading possibly could be a little bit triggering in some way. I'm seeing that for you guys, but I feel like a lot of you guys are spiritually tapped in and emotionally intelligent and spiritually intelligent. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like there might have been an unconscious desire to walk away from this twin flame relationship or this karmic person because it's causing so much grief. It's causing so much pain, and you're like waiting, and this person is just like not ready to grow up, you know, like they're not ready to welcome you. And you're like, if you would just face your fear, if you would just love yourself, if you would just heal this wound and do this a bit. But you know, we can't make someone the person that we want them to be. They have to choose that themselves. And if they are not making the choice to do that, I feel like at some point you're just going to offer this up to spirit and be like, you know what, I don't want this in my life. Not all of you are walking away, but I feel like some of you will be. And I feel like your spirit guides are saying that is the intelligent decision. Some of your spirit guides came through and they were very strongly, they were like, that is the intelligent decision. It is not wrong to walk away from a twin flame relationship. You are the queen, you are the king of your life. You decide, like, it's your decision. Okay, so if you feel like someone is treating you like shit, and that has been a consistent behavior, even if there is love, even if there is kindness, okay, even if some of your needs are being met, but there is even a hint of disrespect, don't be afraid to walk away. Just because that person is your twin flame doesn't mean you're meant to be with them, because spirit will bring in a better, more aligned, more spiritually evolved partner for you. But then you have to first say no to this toxicity. Okay, you have to first be like, you know what, spirit, I don't care if this is twin flame or whatever, if it's destined, give me someone better, and spirit will give you someone better. So I feel like with the offering card, whatever you ask for is going to come true. I just felt that. I felt that really strongly. I feel like your twin flame could have tried to stop you from shining in some way. I'm not really sure, but there was this message in the pile number 1 where they were also prevented from shining their light in some way. But I feel like for you it could be twin flame. I don't know if it's your world, it could be a family. Yeah, there is a similar background. In terms of background, there is a similar energy between you and pile number 1, but I don't feel like your futures are going to be the same. It's going to be different. So we've got 3 of Wands. Yeah, we have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. Wow, the Empress came out for group number 1 as well. So yeah, if you were drawn to group number 1, then there might be some messages for you. We've got Page of Swords. I can't help but think with the Page of Swords that you're here to fully be so confident. You're like, God, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Universe, this is what I want. You know what, like, this is what I'm asking for. And you're not going to bend and be like, oh, you know, like, God chose this person as my twin flame, so, you know, I have to accept this behavior. And it's like, you're not about that. You guys are too powerful to be like that or to say something like that. And I feel like I'm kind of scared to even like say that, because I feel like you guys might never ever do that. Like, it's, you know, your energy is giving me a little bit like Liz. You guys know the wizard Liz on YouTube? Your energy is a little bit like that. And you know how Liz has gone through so much abuse in her family, like especially her father was a very abusive person in her life, and it took a lot of time for her to be like, you know what, I deserve better, I'm gonna love myself, and this, and like YouTube and this. And I feel like you guys are embodying that strong energy like that. I'm not saying that personality wise you guys are similar to Liz, but I do feel like energetically you guys are similar to Liz. Even Liz has this energy of like, you know what, I'm not gonna allow you to treat me like shit. And that is what I'm feeling from you guys as well. There is this you guys are gentle. It's like you guys are gentle fighters. You guys are gentle warriors. It's like you're kind and you're nice and you're sweet and you're all smiling until someone does something to you, and then it's game over. It's like, oh, you dare to take my hair. Oh, you dare to put me down. You dare to verbally try to manipulate me. Who are you talking to? Excuse me. Get lost. And I feel like that's the kind of energy I'm picking up from you. Or if this does not resonate with you currently, and this is the energy that you will be embodying in the future. There's something about this sword. Your spirit guides keep taking me to the sword in this card that this Page of Sword is holding. And I feel like you're here to cut off, like, one of your spiritual missions is to cut off people and like start saying no, you know, and be like no, and establishing what you want strongly. So if let's say, for example, your father was also abusive like Liz, like hypothetically, okay, and you're like no, at some point you're like no, and it's the correct thing to do, and your spirit guides are encouraging you to say no and be like, you know what, I don't want this, like, give me something else. Don't be afraid to tell the universe what you want. Like, I just heard, don't be afraid to make universe your bitch. Now, I don't know who this message is for, but that's just what I heard. I do not mean this in a derogatory way at all. I feel like your guides came through to say it, you know, to make you feel empowered instead. So please take it that way. But I feel like, you know what, like, it's like their higher dimensional beings are tired of humans placing, you know, like, angels and like on a pedestal and putting themselves down. Right? Like, they're tired of that. Like, they don't want to be deified. They don't want to be worshipped as gods or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're just people, but in the 4D. They're just people, but in the 5D. Right? So it's like, we're not better than you. We're not above you. Like, we're just come from a higher dimension, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we're above you, or we're like, you know, like, it's not like that. And I'm just feeling that I'm sorry, I just got this very strong sense of like deja vu, and I'm just trying to figure out why. I don't think it has much to do with your group. I feel like it's me and my energy. I'm so sorry. Let me tap back in. You're cutting something off and creating yourself. What is your self? For pile number 1, it was creating, like, bringing life and like light codes. For you, it's like you're creating yourself, SELF. That is coming through, like capital SELF. You are not here to play it by the book. You are not here to play it by the rules, group number 2. Okay, there is something that you are 3-3. There's something that you're doing, something about you saying no to things, which is very, very important from a spiritual perspective. Okay, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your beings that watch over you, higher dimensional beings that watch over you, are coming through to say very strongly, like, if you feel like something is not right, don't be scared to walk away. Don't be scared to, like, to change things, you know, like, don't be scared to go against a system. Okay, so it's a little bit like, let's say hypothetically you were in the education system and you realize that, oh wait, the education system makes children even more stupid because it cuts them off from their own spirituality, from their own intelligence. It dictates what they are going to learn, how they are going to learn, when the test will be, and also the person who gets an A is told or given the message that they are worthy of an adult's approval and validation, whereas the child who's getting, like, let's say an F or not getting good grades is seen as unworthy, is seen as failure. And it also introduces the concept of, like, competition. Now you're hating the person who's first in the class because that's how they want it. Like, they are breeding violence in children. They are teaching children that you have to compete, you have to fight, you have to compare yourself. There is this concept of number 1, and we can't all be individuals, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a effed up system that adults have invented for their own gratification by making children feel small and making children compete with their own friends, with their own peers. And it's like you realize that and you're like, wait a second, I don't want this. So what is a school system that would be better? And let's say you get an idea and you get a concept and you actually manage to establish something like that in the future. You might be met with criticism in the beginning because it shifts away from the current toxic paradigm, right? It's based on a new paradigm of love, of connection, and there is no competition, there's no comparison, it focuses on individual talent, right? It doesn't, like, force children to fit a certain mold, like fit a certain test, you know what I mean? Like, there's one test and then if you do well, then, like, good, but if you don't, like, you're bad, right? It's not like that. It's like you're focusing, you basically you invent something, you invent the school system that is actually good for children, for human children, that reinforces connection, that reinforces love, that, you know, doesn't breed competition, doesn't breed violence. And I feel like a lot of people will then join your school and be like, okay, you know what, like, this is the school that we needed to go to when we were kids. Like, your parents might come and tell you that. I'm not saying that, you know, you're going to invent a school. That could be a possibility, but I'm just giving a hypothetical example because for all of you that are watching this reading, it's gonna be different for all of you. Whoa, we've got the Queen of Cups herself. Yeah, group number 1 and 2, definitely very, very similar energies. Very strong divine feminine energy is here as well. And we've got Moon for sure. I mean, we have the Moon, we've got the 9 of Pentacles, we've got the Queen of Cups herself, and we've got the Empress herself. You guys could have been strongly attracted to group number 1 because there was a strong divine feminine energy there as well. So that's just what I'm seeing. It's like you're bringing compassion, but one of your biggest, I think, spiritual missions is to learn your boundaries, because I feel like with the Moon and the Queen of Cups, you might be someone who could have struggled with people-pleasing tendencies, or you might have struggled with self-worth issues, you know, just like Liz did. Liz also believed that she wasn't good enough, and she still struggles with people-pleasing sometimes, I mean, because of the childhood that she went through. But she is amazing, and she is beautiful, and she's got so much love to give to people, so much content to give to people, and, like, she's one of the most inspiring women on YouTube, and she genuinely tells you the truth in your face, even if you don't like it. And I feel like you're here to embody some kind of a strength. So it's like your other spiritual mission is be empathetic, but not in a weak way. Be empathetic in a strong way. You know what I mean? Like, don't let your empathy be kind to someone who's obviously trying to abuse you. Use your empathy instead to catch them in their red act, right? Like, catch them red-handed and be like, this is what you're doing, you're trying to manipulate me, this is why you're doing, and just walk away. Being empathetic does not mean being weak, and I feel like somewhere you're here to learn where that boundary lies, because we've got moon, and that rules the subconscious. It's the 12th house. I don't know, I'm being taken to 12th house. Moon does not rule the 12th house, I think. The subconscious, the Pisces, rules 12th house, but I'm just being taken to 12th house energy. You could be a Pisces, you don't have to be. You could be a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, you could be an earth sign. And I feel like you're coming out of, like, one of your spiritual missions is to come out of this, like, you know, I love everyone kind of thing, and be like, oh wait, but everyone doesn't love me, and I need to see what's going on. And it's not like your solution is to start being mean to everyone because the world is shitty, you know. It's like, wait a second, there are people that try to hurt me, but there are also people that love me. Let me see people for who they are, instead of assuming that the world is all good or all bad, because that's not true, right? So you're learning to hold dichotomy, you're learning to hold opposing views, that on one hand there are beautiful people that love you, but on the other hand there are also people that might try to bring you down, that might try to take advantage of your kindness, of your love. But I feel like with the Queen of Cups who's watching, you know, like, look at the way she's tilted her head. It's just taking me to the fact that you can't be manipulated, because you just see through everything. You've got a very active third eye, or there's something about spirit directly communicating with you and being like, this person is trying to deceive you, you know. Like, you've got a strong voice, you've got a strong inner voice, you've got a strong intuition. So always listen to that intuition and be kind, but not at your own detriment, right? Because your spirit guides are coming through strongly to say, you know what, like, there's no such thing as unconditional love. You're okay, maybe as a physical human you're not meant to love unconditionally, because if you do that, some people are going to take that as an invitation to, I just heard, molest you. That's not going to resonate with everyone, but you know, please don't get triggered. But they might take it as a invitation, like, oh, this person is so weak because they're so kind, they're so empathetic, and you need to be very away from these people. Like, these kind of people, you need to be away from them. And don't be scared to be like, you know what, F you, bye. You're not here to love everyone, because everyone doesn't love you. Okay, it's not possible. Okay, and let's just be realistic, and let's just be honest. Maybe this is not a very spiritual thing to say, but it is honest, because I am, you know, I'm not concerned about other people, I'm concerned about you. You're my soul family, and your safety is my priority, especially your emotional safety. So if you feel like you're somewhere where there is no emotional safety, cut it out, bye. And I feel like some of you are already doing this, so I don't have to keep saying it. But for the rest of you, you guys are learning to do this and stepping into this emperor energy, stepping into this empress energy. And some of you could be stepping into emperor energy, you know, being very confident, being like a leader. Especially if you're the divine feminine, I feel like you hold a lot of power, and the world does not tolerate or take well to people that hold a lot of power, because the Gen Z and the millennials have been severely wounded by power authorities, or, you know, like, authority figures in general, whether it's parents or teachers or the government. And I just feel like the world does not tolerate a woman in power, specifically the divine feminine in power. And for you to be like, embody that emperor and empress energy both at the same time is a step of courage that you need to take. And your light will be like an offering, like a gift for the world. Like the moon, you shine. So that's what I'm seeing for you, my dear group number 2. Is there anything else? I feel like there is something. Hold on. Is there? What am I missing? The haze will clear soon. Confusion will turn into clarity. That's what they said. maybe you needed to hear that. I feel like I want to pick out one oracle card for you because I keep being taken to oracle decks. Just one, spirit. We have Taurus. Yeah. Taurus is one of the earth signs and one of the most physical earth signs. You know, Taurus, they are very, very oh my gosh, look at the back of the deck. We literally have the moon. And they are very tapped into the physicality. Like, they're very drawn to the material things. They're very drawn to sensual pleasures of the physical world, like food or just anything that has to do with like providing gratification for the 5 physical senses specifically. And yeah, you're here to, you could be artistic or creative in some way, but you're here to create something. And I feel like with the Taurus energy, you might be someone who goes slow, but slow and steady wins the race. So trust, have patience, and embody, fully be in your physical being, okay? The concept of spirituality is a bit skewed. Being like empathetic without boundaries is not spiritual. There's nothing spiritual about allowing yourself to get hurt, because you are spirit's child. So it is not spiritual to allow yourself to get hurt, okay? So please don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And Taurus people are usually very stubborn. They've got a good self-esteem if evolved, and that's something also that you're mastering. That's what I'm seeing for you. And you're going to be very beautiful if you're not already, or you're perceived as very like physically attractive, but I feel like there is an energetic glow up as well, especially if you guys were drawn to pile 1, because they've got an energetic glow up as well. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you, my dear group number 2s. I hope you loved today's reading. Thank you so much for all of your support. All those of you that booked personal readings, and there was a delay because I was very sick this last month. Thank you so much for all of your kind messages, for all of your love, and keep shining bright. And thank you so much for supporting me. I hope that I can give all of this beautiful energy back to you. I hope I can give you light. I hope I can provide clarity from spirit. I hope my readings help you, and I'm holding so much love for you. I'm giving you virtual hugs. And yeah, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank all of the beautiful cards that I used today. Thank you so much for allowing me to channel for my divine and beautiful group number 2. And thank you so much, group number 2 spirit guides, for coming through or for all of these beautiful messages. And hopefully I'll see you in my next reading. If not, I thank you so much for watching this one. Bye. Hello and welcome, my dear loves. If you chose group number 3, you chose this card called the Gem. I feel like you're bringing a lot of light. You could be the scapegoat child, or the child that is neurodivergent, or someone who was probably called weird, or there's something about you that is so different. And you're so different to a point that earth humans might not have understood you. They might have misunderstood you. Like, you might be the person who was bullied for being different, for being weird. There's something about you guys being neurodivergent, and you're very intelligent. And I feel like it just wasn't the time for people to get you, and for people to get what you're saying. I feel like you're way ahead of your time. You know what I mean? It's like you've traveled back in time, and you're living in a world where there is no love. And you, just as an example, it's like maybe if you perceive the world to be unloving or unkind or cruel, it's like you've come back. There's something about your soul. It's like you were in a higher dimension, or like you were at a higher frequency, or like there's some, like, I'm being shown a backward motion. Like, your soul willingly chose to like just come back and be like, you know what, let me come here, let me incarnate here and bring the higher frequency to this, like this dense 3D, because so that the 3D humans can evolve and go to a higher frequency. But I feel like humans might have disappointed you, group number 3. I don't know. I feel like you guys could be vegan, or like you guys are seeing the cruelty that happens not humans doing to other humans, but also humans doing to children, humans doing to animal, human doing to the environment, the plant life. It's like everything is a mess. and you're out here shining in this very, very dense black and white 3D matrix, right? And you're like, you know what, this is not right, this is what we need to do, and like no one listens because they don't get it yet. And the reason why they don't get it is because, unfortunately, humans need to experience an immense amount of discomfort and pain in order to change anything, right? It's like, okay, we want petrol for our cars, and it's like petrol, you know, they're digging it out. One day petrol gets over, and now they're like, oh wait, like what are we going to do now? Oh, maybe we should have been careful before using up all of it. You know, like that's something that I'm getting for you. And I feel like you could have been the person who was like, we can't be using petrol like this. We've got the Ace of Pentacles for you at the back of the deck. I feel like it means something, so I'm gonna put it here. Spirit said it means something. So there's something about and you could have been like, you know what, we can't be using petrol like this. We need to like invent some other cars. You know, we need to invent like some other types of engines so that they can handle other fuels, and nobody listened. And it's like flash forward decades later, you know, like it's like they regret not listening to you, you know, like humanity will regret not listening to you. You know what, your energy comes off like a messiah or a prophet. Maybe you were like highly enlightened in your last life, or there's something about you mastering something in your previous life if you were here on earth, or you've come from a higher, like there's one thing that's confirmed, that you've come from a higher frequency voluntarily into a lower one to bring in the higher frequency into the lower so that the lower can go up to the high. Okay, it's like, for example, you've come from the 5D to the 3D, and you've got the knowledge of 5D, right? Like, you know spiritual truths, you know oneness, like you know these things, you know dichotomy, you know duality, and you're coming from the 5D to the 3D. You're learning things about the 3D, and you're giving 3D humans 5D perspective, right? Obviously humans are not getting that because humans are in the 3D. They're not tapped into the 5D, right? They are cut off from the 5D, so they cannot see what you're seeing, right? They cannot see the color frequencies, the colors, things that you're seeing, right? And so you could be clairsentient, clairvoyant. Your energy is coming off a little bit like Teal Swan. Teal Swan is someone who's known for her extrasensory abilities. She sees the frequency, she does not see the physical. She's like, she looks at the world as vibration. You know how someone will do some kind of a recreational drug, and like what they see, the patterns that they see, the energies that they see, that is what she's seeing like the whole time. And I feel like your energy is coming off very similar to Teal Swan, and you guys know the whole thing with her, right? Like there's so many people just hating on her and just with bad propaganda against her, and she's got supporters and everything. But I feel like, you know, like she's also decades ahead, and what she's telling us now is something that is not understood by everyone, right? Like you have to go through that kind of thing in order to be like, oh no, you know, like Teal is right, like, you know, her haters are wrong. And I just feel like there's a strong feeling of like people don't understand what you're saying. We've got 7 of Cups, and look at that, it's a man and a woman, is it? Why is there 2 people in this card? 7 of Cups usually does not have that. Anyway, we will see. Maybe you're meant to do this with a partner. We have the Chariot. Okay, yeah, you're definitely bringing something with the Chariot, because Chariot means movement, going somewhere, right? Choosing. And I feel like you're definitely, yeah, definitely here for that. We have 4 of Cups. I think it was your soul wish or a like fulfillment, like dream fulfillment, I just heard. We have 7 of Wands. A very different energy from this card compared to these cards. We have King of Pentacles. Okay. And finally we have the 6 of Wands. The fact that your tarot spread is ending with Six of Wands means you will be victorious wherever you're going, whatever you're doing. You will be successful for sure. With the Seven of Wands, I just feel like you might have gotten into like this cat-mouse game, right? This fighting kind of energy where it's like me versus you, right? Like my country versus yours, my partner versus yours, my beauty versus yours. And you're kind of seeing through the illusion and being like, oh wait, like this was deliberately created for humans to be controlled. You know, like if we're busy fighting each other and we're not loving each other, that makes us malleable, that makes us easy to manipulate and control. And whatever systems, whatever people are interested in, that will easily manage to do that, right? So you might have gotten into a lot of like conflict energy, a lot of oppositional energy specifically. It's like somebody was opposite you in some way, okay, and you experienced a lot of opposition or criticism from this person or people. And I feel like here you see those two people like in alignment, and here these two foxes are fighting and they're different in color. So I feel like there's something about, if it's not a partner, then there's something about you bringing your two halves together. Something about you bringing two halves together, like two separate oppositional energies, bringing it into balance and being like, you know what, oneness is true, but also the physical separation is true. You know, like we all are physical manifestations of the same source energy, but you and I still have something called a personality, something called an ego self, and so we are different physical beings, right? And both of those things are true at the same time, and the human mind cannot comprehend that. And I feel like you're one of those spiritual people that understands that very well, that understands dichotomy, that understands duality. I feel like it's something that you learned, okay? It was not something that was like taught to you. I feel like from the 5D perspective, everything is oneness, right? From the higher perspective, everything is one. All that exists is source itself. But if you manifest as a physical being, whether it's in the 5D or the 4D or the 3D, you have an ego self, right? Like you have a personality, you have a self, which is different from source self, but you are part of that source stream. You are part of God, right? You are part of the universe. And there's something about you bringing, I feel like this is one of your biggest spiritual missions. Like there's something about you bringing, like maybe it's spirituality and physicality, right? A lot of people will put that against, like if you're spiritual, you need to be in a forest, you need to meditate, you need to dress like you're homeless and this and that. And it's like, that's not true, right? Again, a skewed concept of spirituality, right? Spirituality does not mean not taking care of yourself. It's quite the opposite, actually. And you realize that the more spiritual you become, the more physical you become, right? You're meditating on time, you're sleeping on time, you're maybe avoiding sugar, you're maybe avoiding low vibrational foods or negative pranic foods like meat, chilies. Like there's something about you bringing two opposing forces together. And then whatever comes out of that, the union of these two forces, these two separate views, these two different perspectives, these two different energies, you are imparting that wisdom in your life, firstly, and then also to humans. There's something about you being like a figure. I just saw the Hierophant card, so maybe you could be teaching something in some way, I don't know. But whatever you're saying, maybe you write a book, like I really don't know, maybe it's like a podcast, I really don't know exactly how you're doing, but you're definitely doing, because we've got this person standing here, and it's taking me to people that are good speakers on stage. That's what I'm being shown with this person with the Six of Wands. It's like you've got a story to share, and the spiritual perspectives that you share will help people immensely. So if you're ever called to do that, go ahead and do it, okay? Now for your other mission, I'm getting that you have the King of Pentacles with the Chariot. So I feel like there's something about you balancing the higher dimension with denser 3D, the physical, right? And there's something about like you mastering abundance if you come from poverty, like something you're mastering which is very physical, which is very material, right? Like money is physical, like physical finances are physical, like your external beauty, your physical appearance is physical, So I feel like you're mastering that. You could be manifesting physical beauty or physical, attractiveness, or maybe you're manifesting abundance, but there's something material that you are manifesting with the Ace of Pentacles, with the King of Pentacles. I feel like it's definitely going to happen for you. It could be success, it could be a car, it could be a house, like it really could be anything that's physical. And I feel like you might think, wait, that's not spiritual, or I shouldn't want that, I shouldn't have that. And I feel like Spirit is coming through to say, why not? Why should you not have that? You should definitely have all of your desires. So please do not demonize yourself for having desires. You guys could have second house placements, Taurus placements. I'm getting a lot of second house placements. Maybe Pluto in the second house or Saturn in the second house. Like you grow up with this sense of like lack, and then you realize, wait, the universe is abundant, the universe is infinite, because you're a spiritual being, and you're like, oh wait, I don't need to take this on, and like you're establishing your own goals. And even in the physical, I feel like you establish your own goals the way you want. So it's like, if you're manifesting physical attractiveness, it is not the beauty standard that you're manifesting, like maybe you're manifesting like health, maybe you're manifesting like vision, right? Maybe you're manifesting your throat chakra to be open so that you can speak, you're eloquent, you're witty, you're funny. Like that's how you're doing it. Like you're doing it in your own way and in your own time. Like you're here to shine as yourself, and you're not trying to copy anyone else. You're not trying to be anyone else. That's what I'm seeing. With the circles coming through, I feel like there could be a cycle that is coming to an end energetically. Spirit is saying that some kind of hard period is over. Dog days are over. That's what I'm hearing. The difficult period, if you are stuck in a difficult cycle right now and you feel like, like I'm never going to get out of this is sad, like this is never going to get better, what is going on, like you're going to be okay. The cycle is going to end, everything ends. And so if you're currently in pain, or currently you don't feel like so evolved, or like you're a gem, then you'll definitely, once this period is over, once this cycle is over, you'll be able to see that you are a higher dimensional being, and that you don't need to get so caught up in the 3D. You need to hold the 3D perspective as well as the 5D perspective together. That's what I'm seeing for you. Let me get some guidance or advice. So I'm being called to use the Monology deck, so guidance, advice. So we've got 2 cards, I'm taking them. Wow, new moon in Taurus. What did I say? Oh my god. New moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine, and new moon in Taurus, know your worth. And both of them are green, and both of them are new moon cards. Wow, yeah, definitely green is coming through. Green, I see it as the color of like abundance. Oh my gosh, look at that. Again, what do we have here? New moon in Capricorn, step up and lead. And again, it's green. Green. I just heard Sahasrara chakra, throat chakra. Yeah, this is your advice. I feel like I don't need to elaborate on this. I feel like this was pretty, I feel like this is just direct advice, like this is direct, and they don't want me to talk too much about it because it will take away from the original message. So this is what I'm seeing for you. Don't be afraid to step up and lead. Yeah, definitely. Don't be afraid to take your place in the world, because you will be inspiring a lot of other people to do the same, a lot of spiritual people to do the same. And it's very important that that happens, so that the Earth's frequency as a collective can go higher, and we can actually bring in love and end all of the zero-sum games, narcissistic ways of being, how we're living right now. We don't care what's happening to the other person, all of those things, we can end all that. And I'm just seeing that you're bringing a lot of divine into the 3D. And it's very important that you don't lose your connection with the 5D. You're mastering the 3D, that's one of your spiritual missions as well. but you also have to attune to the divine. Like, don't lose connection with the 5D, like just because you'll be mastering the 3D, don't lose connection with the 5D, don't lose connection with the higher dimensions. And also, because we have Taurus with the Taurus is one of the most material earth signs, I feel, and Pisces is obviously the 12th sign. It's the most non-physical spiritual sign, closest to what we would call source. And I just feel like you're here to bring both. And then what will happen as you bring both is you will shine, you will step up and lead. I feel like you'll be automatically ending up in some kind of a leadership position. When I say leadership, I don't mean that you'll end up being a manager in some company or something, but leader as in like a compassionate leader for humanity, for spirituality, okay, specifically for divine. Like, you are an instrument of the divine, you are the hand of God. That's what I'm feeling. So it's very important that you balance these two, so that you after that, as you do that, spirit will automatically place you in some kind of like a platform, so that people can hear what you have to say, and all of the higher dimensional truths can be conveyed to the 3D humans that the 3D humans are not aware of currently. Whew. So that was it for your reading, group number 3. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this brought some clarity for you. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so by emailing me on the email address in the description. And I take the time to thank you. I take the time to thank all of these beautiful cards. Thank you so much for allowing me to channel for my divine group number 3, who is here for a very beautiful spiritual mission. And thank you so much to their guides, ancestors, and all of the non-physical beings that are watching over my soul family. And thank you so much for watching, my dear soul family. And hopefully I'll see you in my next reading. If not, thank you so much for watching this one. And with that said, I now close the reading for today. Thank you. Thank you, Divine Soul, for sharing your energy with me.